My name is Deborah Walsh, and I'm the director of the Paralegal Studies program at Middlesex Community College in Lowell, Massachusetts. I think we ought to start by talking about what a paralegal does. Actually, paralegals work wherever there are lawyers. Any place that you find a lawyer, you will probably find one or more paralegals assisting him or her. A lot of paralegals work in law firms. They can be very large law firms, particularly if you live near a city. You could be working for a law firm that has hundreds of attorneys in the city, overseas, all around the country. In that case, very often the paralegals work in one specific area and they become experts in that area of the law. Other times you'll find paralegals working with just one lawyer in a very small law firm. In that case, they take whatever clients walk through the door, and the paralegal has to be more of a generalist. You might be working on speeding tickets one day, doing someone's will the next day, helping someone with a divorce the next day. Other places that you find paralegals working are in big corporations, like insurance corporations. I once had a paralegal who worked for Disney. You also find paralegals in the courts. They might be working in the civil court system or in the criminal court system. Just last year, we had a paralegal who graduated and went to work in the probate court system. Other things that you might find paralegals doing are working in legal defense teams, in legal aid offices. You might find them in any kind of business. You might find them doing real estate work for title firms. As I said, any place you find a lawyer, you're likely to find a paralegal. This means that you have to have the same skills as a lawyer has. You have to be able to deal well with people because you might find yourself interviewing clients or interviewing witnesses. You also have to have good writing skills because you want to be able to draft documents for the lawyer to review. The final work product is never yours. You have to be supervised by a lawyer. But it's very important for you to be able to get the ball rolling and to start things so that the lawyer can review your work. You might be preparing for trial, doing what's called a trial notebook. Or you might be examining public records. You might be looking for things like real estate deeds or real estate mortgages. You might be looking at bank accounts. Anything that the lawyer would do or needs, you're going to be able to assist them with that. The one thing that a paralegal is not allowed to do is a paralegal cannot practice law giving services directly to the public. You cannot give advice to a client. You cannot set the fees for the lawyer to accept a client, so you cannot accept clients on behalf of your law firm. And the other thing is, as a general rule, you cannot represent clients in court. The lawyer must always be supervising your work. Let's talk a little bit about the coursework that you have to take in order to become a paralegal. Right now, there are no states in the United States that require paralegals to be licensed, but there are states that are looking very closely at it. There are no mandatory exams, no big bar exam type event. There are two paralegal associations, however, that provide voluntary exams. Those are NIFPA, the National Federation of Paralegal Associations, and NALA, the National Association of Legal Assistants. They have exams that you can take in order to show prospective employers exactly how qualified you are. But as of this point, there are no mandatory exams in order to become a paralegal. That means that there's no standard for employment. You're not going to see lawyers advertising for a paralegal who's licensed. That also means that there is no standard curriculum for a paralegal to study. Paralegals can become paralegals simply by virtue of their experience if they've been in the business for many, many years. But more likely, and more often today, you become a paralegal by getting an education as a paralegal. And you can do that in a few different ways. A lot of paralegals start their studies right out of high school and take a 2-year associate degree program. Others go to 4-year schools and get a bachelor's degree. And then they go on and they get a postgraduate certificate. All of those ways work. One of the things you might be wondering about is whether or not you should attend a school that is certified by the ABA, that has ABA approval. There are a lot of good schools that are not approved by the ABA, but if you attend an ABA-approved school, you're guaranteed that you're getting a degree from an institution that cares deeply about the paralegal profession, that has well-trained professors, and that meets the rigid standards that the ABA requires. Some of the courses that you will be taking will be courses like Intro to Law or Intro to Paralegalism. You might also be required to take American Government. One of the courses that probably every paralegal school requires is Legal Research and Legal Writing. This might be broken up into 2 separate sections, a course on legal research and a different course on legal writing, or you may find them together in the same course. You might have to take more than 1 semester of that course in some schools. Another course that's very commonly offered is a course in computer use, either word processing or computer applications for legal offices. Then there'll be other courses that you will be able to choose from, or may vary from school to school. Some places offer litigation, criminal law, real estate law, contract law, wills, trusts, and estates, family law, courses on business, business organization, or business law, and there are even smaller courses that are very refined and very specific, such as environmental law and things of that nature. These are the same kinds of course topics that you're going to find in law schools that lawyers are studying, because you're learning about the same material that lawyers are learning. One of the things you might want to look for is to look for a school that offers an internship. It might be required or it might be an elective, but internships allow you to get the experience that you need in order to get into the market. Very often what I hear from students is, I can't get a job because I don't have experience. For those students, the best thing to do is to go and volunteer somewhere or to take it as part of their coursework. You might be able to do internships in courts, in law offices, in federal agencies or state agencies. When students come to me and they're thinking about entering the program, whether or not they already have been to college or they're right out of high school and they're thinking about starting their degree work, the first thing I do is sit down with them and ask them to evaluate their personality and their skills. You need to know what works for you. Most colleges have tools that will allow you to sit down and sort of evaluate the things that you like to do, the things that you're good at doing, and this can help you decide what careers might be good for you. One of the things that a paralegal needs to be good at already, or needs to work at becoming better at, are the communication skills. Let's face it, nobody likes to sit and talk to a group of people. It's awfully uncomfortable sometimes, but that's what a paralegal needs to do. A paralegal needs to deal with witnesses. They may need to talk to the client. They may need to talk to a lawyer. They may need to talk to bank personnel. There's an awful lot of verbal communication when you're a paralegal. The other thing you need are written communication skills, and everybody can get better at those. You will be drafting documents, you will be writing letters. There's a lot of work that is ongoing in the field. You never really finish up being good at written communication. You're always working to get better. One of the other things you should think about is whether or not you're able to organize your time. A law office can be a fast-paced environment, and it can be a place where there are a lot of people vying for your attention and your time. You need to be able to organize your time and prioritize the work that's in front of you. You can't get overwhelmed when there are 3 or 4 people asking you to do something at the same time. You need to be able to organize your time and tell them exactly when you'll get to their project. You also need to be detail-oriented. And when I deal with people that are going into the real estate field, I tell them that when they make small mistakes in drafting a document, That can result in a lot of wasted time and wasted money. You don't want to miss deadlines. You don't want to make mistakes that you're going to have to go back and change and re-record documents, because that's expensive and it wastes time when people are under a deadline. Being professional is probably the thing that I would stress. You need to be on time to your job. People are relying on you. You need to be reliable. You need to do your work consistently and do it to the best of your ability. If you're someone that doesn't like to do the best on their job and just wants to get by, being a paralegal probably isn't for you. But if you're willing to try hard and realize that paralegals make mistakes as well as everyone else, you will be a good paralegal. You can improve your skills. No one comes into the job knowing everything there is to know. But over time, you will get better and more consistent about the work that you do. Just because you're not able to do it now, don't let that scare you off. The other thing you have to realize is that because you work with lawyers and they supervise your work, you are very often going to be in a position where you're seen by the public and seen by lawyers, and you need to dress up. You can't go to work. This is not the kind of a job where you can go to work in a t-shirt and jeans. You're probably going to have to wear business casual. For a man, that means a nice collared shirt and a pair of slacks. For a woman, it might mean a suit with a skirt or a suit with pants or a nice blouse. T-shirts, they don't work so well in the law office. The thing that I would tell you to do on your own, and I think you're probably already doing it if you're looking at this video, is you need to do some more research on the internet. There are a lot of good websites out there, reliable websites out there for people considering the legal profession, whether as a lawyer or as a paralegal. You can go to the American Bar Association website. They have a special section for paralegals. There are also NIFPA and NAILA, which are the two big paralegal professional organizations. NIFPA is the National Federation for Paralegal Associations. NAILA is the National Association for Legal Assistants. They're the ones that provide the voluntary examinations, and they do a lot of work training paralegals and making the profession responsible to the public and well respected. The other thing I would tell you to do is to look in your area. What kinds of jobs are there for paralegals there? It's very different if you're working in a large city than if you're working in a small town. There are going to be different jobs available to you, and you need to know what's out there to be realistic about your employability. So look at the job ads. Talk to people of your own local paralegal professional association. See what they see in this economy and every economy, what's available for paralegals. Go to court. One of the assignments we give students here is to visit a court and to write about their experience. A lot of people don't think they can go into court. They watch television and they think that the law profession is like what they see on TV. It's really not. Don't think that TV is life. TV is not life. The paralegal profession is very different. So you need to go to court. Talk to the lawyers that are in court. Talk to the court offices. See what the legal profession is like in your area. And my best piece of advice is go forward with your dreams. Don't let anything stand in your way. Age shouldn't be a consideration. Everybody can get an education if they want it. But make sure before you start a program to become a paralegal that you know as much as you can about the profession so that it serves you well.